Folks, the other day I saw kind of a nasty comment that was posted on a Facebook page in a user group around horses. And what they had said was that they suggested an EcoCalm fan because they had posted an affiliate link, which means they get paid for this, that they were going to go ahead and promote that and wanted everybody to do that because that's immediately in stock and available while the Western Harmonics fan is on pre-order. And further, that they would not be including our fan because of ratings. And I was absolutely incensed by that because of the two fans in this post, one of them is funded and is available because of funding and can be had easily over Amazon.com. And Amazon is sort of notorious for copying folks' work. You know, they kind of are the people that provide all the knockoffs. And this has happened so many different times over the years with stuff that we've developed. And there's always a story with this. You know, each one is different. On this particular knockoff, what they've done is they've got a battery fan that has a thermostat speed controller that is connected to two 30-watt panels and runs off the battery. Whereas the Western Harmonics fan is a 12-volt DC fan that can run off of a 100-watt 12-volt solar panel, as we're going to do in this comparison, or can be powered by a 12-volt solar system, where you've got 12 volts of solar and 12 volts of battery and whatever capacity to run your fan. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do a side-by-side comparison, since I don't think anybody should be just slanted and left out of some results so that somebody can promote some stuff. You know, it really kind of tripped me a bit about this because, you know, for 5 years we've had this fan in the market where it could be had either directly on sale on our website or on pre-order. And that is primarily because we are not funded. We're an American company. I'm not going to make this video about how little they actually do, and in this case they've done absolutely nothing in terms of funding. And you know, it's not a fair thing for our country to sort of blame other countries and other suppliers that flood our market when our own people can't even get the necessities they need to represent in the market in the first place with their own inventions that are being copied. So when somebody says something like you're left out of the ratings, that just kind of is not right. And the only ratings we have that really apply to this are Better Business Bureau ratings, where we have an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. I've got other videos where I've talked about how they choose to index a complaints page and have ignored our request for about 6 years to take that down and display our actual rating, which is an A rating. We do have 5 complaints about pre-order. Yeah, those exist, and there definitely is a story to those. But I also want to point out that, you know, by the time you see me saying something to somebody, things have already kind of gone beyond what anybody else would necessarily tolerate, because it is critically important to us that we get our funding. So they did get their 5 complaints in there, and those were kind of massaged into place on purpose. And, you know, I've got another video where I talk about this, but this is the thing with this. I have sent out thousands and thousands of items. It is not even half a percentage of what all we've delivered that complaints page has netted over 5 years of attempting to slant my company. So we're going to get the ratings right now. If folks want to cite that as a reason to not include us, well, you know, you do what you do to your own people, and you own your actions. And if you need to have your Amazon link to get paid, and you know who you are, then you just do that. But we're going to show the public what's going on here and the truth of the matter, because these are 2 very different products in terms of performance. And the one on the right is designed to look and perform like the one on the left, which is the Western Harmonics fan, and doesn't hold up. And we're going to go a step further by connecting to a wall plug-in fan that runs off an AC inverter, providing AC voltage, same as you have in the wall. And we're going to see how these two compare to that. So let's begin. What I've done here is I've got both fans just sort of clamped to a board here in the front room. And we're going to get side-by-side wind results. We're going to get foot per minute readings just to provide the difference between the two. And in the interest of keeping things interesting, we have this 20-inch wall plug-in fan. This is a Utilitech fan that is designed to run on 110 volts AC current. We're going to get the wind reading from this as well, just to see how these guys compare. We're fully off-grid here in terms of electricity. So for powering this Utilitech fan, I've got this 2,000 watt inverter plugged into a 100 Ah 12 volt battery. We're sitting at about 12.9 volts. So we're going to plug in here to provide power to get the wind results for this wall plug-in fan. Okay folks, concerning the light conditions that we have in the sky at the moment, it's a little bit overcast. These are just kind of a live look. It's 91 degrees out here, very humid. I've got the solar panels facing off to the west. It's currently about 2:42 in the afternoon. The sun is in the western section of the sky, so our panels should perform as good as they're going to perform, considering we're a little bit overcast. Okay folks, I'm outside here. On the left, we have the solar panels that come with the EcoCalm fan. You get two 30-watt panels in parallel for a total of 60 watts. On the right, we have the Western Harmonics 100-watt panel that comes with the fan. This is a full 100-watt bifacial panel. In fact, they're both bifacial panels. And what I've done is I've just run the cords in here through the door inside. Now, one thing that should be noted is that the EcoCalm does not have a full 20-foot run. So in the middle, at 10 feet, we've got the controller that plugs in, whereas the Western Harmonics cord is just kind of continual and is direct drive. And I've got both of these guys in here running. So let's take a look and get some wind results. Now, for accuracy in our results, what I've done is I've just got this divide line here in the cement, and I've kind of just put this in parallel so that we have the fans the same distance back from this line. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set something as simple as a cardboard box with our anemometer on top of the box, and with that we're going to get a wind reading. And what's going to happen is when the fan is powered up, the wind coming off of that is going to turn the small fan on the top of the anemometer. And on this screen right here, we're going to have the reading for the number of feet per minute, which is going to tell us the wind velocity coming off of the fan. And from that, you're able to determine which is the more powerful fan. Okay, so we've got our setup. This is how we're set up for the Eco fan. To turn the fan on, we just use this controller here. And we're going to hit the fan button once, which is going to turn the fan onto low. Okay, we're going to give that a minute to spin up. It's running on low. And we're going to get the wind reading. And I've already turned on the anemometer here. This is what we're reading. That measurement is in foot per minute. We're just going to give it a minute here to settle out any kind of catch up it has to do from the startup of the fan. And that's going to be our low speed reading on the EcoCalm. Okay, now we're going to do the low speed reading for the Western Harmonics fan. We've got the same setup. It's just moved over in front of the fan. Now for this guy, We do not have a controller box. What we have instead is a 3-speed switch box for turning the fan on and off. So this one will be the on-off. This is the low, the medium, the high speed. So we're going to start with the low speed. And this is running directly off a solar panel. There's no battery involved in this. It is a sealed motor. In fact, they both recovered, so they're both sealed. And this is what we're going to have. Okay, and now here we are in front. This is going to be the reading for the Western Harmonics fan on low speed. Give that a minute to settle out, any kind of speed variation it needs to solve. Catching up. Okay, so that's the low speed reading for the Western Harmonics fan. Now we're going to go onward to the medium speed for the EcoCalm fan. Okay, for the medium speed on the EcoCalm fan, we're going to go 1, turn it on, 2, that is the middle speed. So let's take a look at what our reading looks like for this. We're up and running. We're going to give this a minute to just sort of settle in, get whatever reading it's going to get. This is what we have for medium. Okay, so that's the reading for the medium speed on the EcoCalm fan. Now we're going to go onward to the medium speed on the Western Harmonics fan. Okay, we're back with the reading. Let's do this. Okay, medium speed, middle setting. We're going to let this run. Looks like I've got that just a hair back from the edge, so there is that little variation, just to point that out. By no means are these scientifically derived results that were obtained in a lab, but they are good enough to get an understanding of the difference between the two. This is what we've got on the medium speed for the Western Harmonics fan. This is running solar direct. There's no battery involved. Now for the high speed on the EcoCalm fan. So this is where we're going to see it open wide up and really perform. There's 1 and 2. This is 3. That's the 3-speed setting that they have digitally controlled. And this is running on high. If you notice, we have plenty of battery, just for reference. Let's take a gander. We're up and running. Give that a minute to spool up. This is how we're sitting in terms of the alignment. And let's take a gander. Let her have a minute to just really get going. Okay, so that's the high speed setting on the EcoCalm fan. Onward to Western Harmonics on high speed. Okay, for the high speed on the Western Harmonics fan, I just put that back the way it was. Let's take a look here. That's high speed. Let's give her a run. We'll give this a minute to wind up. Now, you got to remember, we are running solar direct, so There are slight variations when you're powering directly off the solar panel. As I pointed out, the sky is not fully clear. Oops. I may have to hold this guy up to get this. Let's just take a look here. So the Western Harmonics fan is actually capable of a little bit higher speed than what we're getting at the moment, just simply due to the fact that we do have some light cloud cover in the sky. Definitely not enough to hamper production off the solar panel, but just enough to give us a really strong performance, but not quite what the fan is fully capable of. For this high velocity plug-in fan, this is one that I picked up years back when we were doing some prototyping for the Western Harmonics fan. And just to give a full-on visual of what the three sizes are, these are 20-inch fans. This is actually a 22-inch fan. It's a little bit larger. And it is a full wall plug-in. I've run an extension cord over here. So what we're going to do, should we just go ahead and start off with the high speed? I think we should, huh? We're at 0. This is approximately the same distance. We do have a little bit of makeup here with these boxes because this guy does not have even so much as a floor cradle on it. It does have full 3-speed setting, so we're going to start off with, where is it? The dial, which is right here, and we're just going to rock that all the way over to high speed. This is high speed. It's up and running. Before this guy falls over, let's get a reading. Okay, this is what I call the 8-foot visual test. We're about 8 foot back from the fan. And as you can see, there is a visual difference between the performance in terms of wind velocity and rotation of the fan between the two. And essentially, the EcoCalm fan produces the same amount of power as the Western Harmonics fan produces on low speed, with the high speed on the Western Harmonics fan comparable to a 20-inch high velocity, a 22-inch actually, high velocity wall plug-in AC powered fan. So when it comes to solar power and powering your fan directly off the panel, the performance you get is essentially the same as a wall plug-in fan. The main difference between these two, the EcoCalm fan is powered by a battery which is charged by solar. The Western Harmonics fan is solar direct or can be powered by a 12-volt solar and battery system, which we do have available on the website both as a kit and a little bit later this week with the system designer you'll be able to custom design systems involving this fan where you can go fully overnight with days of operation beyond what you have just sort of in store off of the panel.